was in order to, yes, to look into writing as being this thing that allows sudden changes, allows turn, allows for changes in how we are together. So I will now present one aspect of this research, and it's rather about how would the position of the reader, being a reader, inform our position of spectator, so our consideration of what is being spectator. So this presentation I now share with you has a title. It is If We Were Together in Print. And I will start by doing together with you the first 7 minutes of a performance that is called Sync. And to do that, I will ask you actually if you want to join me and to come around this table, around these books. So we're about to do the 7 minutes beginning of that performance. I didn't take my stopwatch.
Oh,
yeah. To measure time. So we have 7 minutes for the beginning of that performance. Welcome to Sync. Sync is a book performance, so the performance is only the reading of the book. It is about you, spectator, becoming readers of this book that is here on the table. The performance takes place in each reader and also in the relation between the reader and his book and between all readers and book in the theater, in this space that is now our theater. As reader, you can choose to be more or less spectator, more or less performer. You can choose to contemplate, witness what takes place. You can act, dance in real, or in your thoughts, imagine other people dancing. You can interact with other readers and their performances. You can ask, please, can you stop your performance and be part of mine? You can be the neighbor of your neighbor. You can read in silence or out loud. You will encounter the body of the book. You can walk with it, take it in space, take the performance around in this space. You can lie down, sit, take chairs, and configure our space. And of course, you can displace them as you want. The duration of the performance is 45 minutes. You will hear a signal 5 minutes before the end. So now, please, take your book and choose how the performance begins, develop, and ends. Here they are. I will add also some paper that you can use if you, as material available.
We
One
cry.
neighbor crumples to the paper,
A reader.
the other opens the paper.
A pencil.
As I inhale,
And
I
this.
fold my body down. One neighbor opens the paper, the other crumples the paper. Accordion, diaphragm, X here, X neighbor, X forward. Breathing becomes communication when buttons are being pushed. I prolong my breathing to its maximum of amplitude. It is audible from the two neighbors. As I exhale, I unfold my body up. One neighbor crumples the paper, the other opens the paper. As I inhale, I fold my body down. One neighbor opens the paper.
It is now 7 minutes, so I must interrupt your performance. That was the first 7 minutes of this 45 minutes performance. To continue and finish the presentation with 3 more minutes, I'd like us to gather around the table, to pick a chair and to sit down. We will try to squeeze and sit around this table. 9. But 9 readers gathered for the first time and sat around the table as we are doing now. They had individually read the book before we met, and in the book club they talked about the book as a performance they had seen or they went to. So how had they heard about the performance? When was it? What was the venue? How did it begin? How did it develop? What was the ending? And so on. Who was performing, etc. So each reader had a particular definition of what was the performance. For instance, Yet, she was a writer. For her, the performance was the entire book, its structure, its composition, of which she felt as spectator. Her relation to it was that she was the spectator. For Amalia, another reader, the performance was the poem. For Francine, the performance was the score. For Joseph, the performance was the encounter with the book. So Joseph would say, I am not sure if I can compare this performance with another dance performance or something visual, because for me that was more like I was the performance myself. Joseph's response brings me to another question that were asked to them. That is the question of who was dancing in the performance. And it was both the body of the book, the neighbors inside the book. So, for instance, in the poem, there's this someone in the poem, this neighbor with whom I share my air, I breathe the same air. The neighbors also outside the book. So, the neighbors. So, for instance, here, who was saying it? Yes, Julian, one of the readers, was saying something I noticed particularly was the neighbor and how I became very conscious of the eyes. I mean, in this circumstance, you know, I'm not really looking at you, but I know you're there. If I really look at you, there's this whole shift of perception. A connection maybe. So even on the train, I found myself sort of connecting to all these strangers, and it was a very crowded train at this moment. So another participant yet continued. I had also the experience of the neighbor being very present, picking a little bit of the book I was reading or looking. So it is, once again, the book, the reader, spectator, theater, and all these neighbors that were dancing sync. That's what I call being together in print. They were together in print. From my perspective, as being choreographer of this book, I consider that I first became spectator for the very first time after this book club encounter. This book club meeting, participants had, right after the book club meeting, they had another performance, just as the one you created together, and a collective reading. So they were together in the same space, reading at the same time. And there I became spectator of all these dancing bodies, books, readers, movement of thoughts, perception, actions. And I had this strong sense that we were being together in print. thinking together, agreeing not to understand everything, not to get it all, accepting to know it very differently from what my neighbor might know, accepting to know more than my neighbor, and that reciprocally my neighbor knows more than I do. We were being individuals, weathering through the choreography in print. We owned the power of translating in our own way, being together intelligent by acting, by knowing. So together in print, if to answer to this title, if we were together in print, together in print we can rewrite, reinvent, invent futures. We are busy with this, designing the maze in which we are evolving. So thank you. Thank you.